2018 GSL Season 2 Goddess Overgrowth.
Watch out, my heart is a hurricane, baby. I will blow you away. It's a future.
And here we are in the winner's match. Stats against Rogue. Oh my god, it could be a GSL Finals. It could be a BlizzCon Finals. It could be a Super Tournament Finals. It could be any Finals.
But in GSL, it's a round of 32.
Oh my god, it's crazy. It's crazy. And the way ByuL played, jeez. Like, this is a good night. You know, Emotion having a hard time, but everyone else playing really well so far. Now, Stats going up against Rogue. Stats has been so hot for so long. But Rogue even hotter. He's won way more tournaments. He's had some early exits, but it hasn't been anything to really be too worried about. Of course, he did just play in the Hangzhou StarCraft Carnival over in China. He just got back from that. That was like on the 29th, and this is the 2nd, right? So that's like 2 days. Maybe he flew back the next day or something. But yeah, he ended up winning his group that had Hero in it, then losing to Neeb 2-3, and then beating Innovation in the 3rd place match. So he got 3rd place in that tournament that Neeb ended up taking down. You know, we'll have to see if he has that type of level that he can take out Stats here. Neeb, I think, a world-class Protoss, so I'm not going to count him out for that loss by any means.
All right, our game's ready.
Fight.
Game 1, Stats versus Rogue.
Splice. Stats.
I would say these two players, as good as ByuL is, I think they are, both Stats and Rogue, in a different tier.
At this moment, yes.
At this moment. So even if they get knocked out here now,
Jin Air Green Wings. Rogue.
I would just say that they are probably not going to be that concerned, but of course, ideally, you do just want to advance to round of 16 as fast as possible.
Yeah. But I gotta say that I think that ByuL will beat Emotion and absolutely can beat whoever is left over. As they say, O Gaming fan here, welcome.
We love O Gaming.
Indeed. Speak for yourself.
You're right.
I love O Gaming as well.
Artosis hates O Gaming, but I think they're all right.
Yeah. But look, you know, I love that old quote that MMA said, right? Form is temporary, class is permanent. ByuL's actual class as a player is top of the world. Okay? He's one of the best Zergs when he's in form. His form recently hasn't been as good, but you know what? The series against Rogue, that looked fantastic. You can't say that Rogue just looks completely better than ByuL after that series tasted, so I don't know why you keep saying it.
Oh, from Morocco, thanks for coming down. Much love. It's a long trip.
Yeah.
I think it's possible for ByuL to beat Rogue, but I also feel like Rogue, it wasn't just a series of build order choices and good execution. I feel like Rogue did adapt through that series, and a lot of times when you have two players like that, and let's just say hypothetically that Rogue does have to come down here now. Is that Solar? Yeah, there's Solar right now. So he doesn't even know. Pay attention, Solar.
Caught Solar talking to someone instead of watching the game. Solar, where's your passion, bro? Probably down here, I would imagine, supporting Stats, his teammate on Splice.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah.
So
probably friends with all these guys.
Usually if you have a rematch, assuming that ByuL and Rogue do fight off again, I would not be surprised if Rogue 2-0s him. I think he's probably made a lot of adjustments and gotten a pretty good read on how ByuL wants to play.
Yeah, I mostly agree with you on that because, you know, I guess, by the way, these links running around are kind of interesting. Like, I guess basically, this actually could end up killing him, man. He doesn't have his wall up. But anyways, what I was saying, like, being kind of a tactical player with good mechanics against someone like Rogue that just is like the supreme late game player, it can be a little bit difficult to beat them over the course of many, many games.
There's a lot more lings being made here.
Yeah, quite
The
a
first
few.
set is going to go for the Stalker. There's a second Adept on the way, but the Stalker should not be able to survive this. The Adept is going to come in here and try to assist in damage. Now keep in mind with the rest of the links coming down now. Okay, he does break that open.
Yeah,
the
really.
Adept is going to be able to be shaded on the other side. If he gets a Cybernetic score, there won't be any Warp Gate.
Oh, he chronos it, but that's not going to be enough. I think he's going to lose that because the shield battery won't finish in time. He's got 2 Adepts, though.
Oh, 10 seconds. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. The core goes down.
Wow, that is pretty brutal that he loses the core. And drones start behind this. Just knowing that you've got Warp Gate gives you a lot of leeway here as Zerg.
Zerg is so flexible. And the damage is still coming over here.
Yeah.
The Warp Prism actually going on that one gateway on the upper right. More pylons coming down here now to try to sandbag out this attack. And both gateways are going to go down.
Look at this
Look at
wall.
this.
It keeps getting bigger. These Adepts are going to have their most ridiculous kill counts ever.
Wow. All those structures killed off.
That's really interesting. They're almost even on the actual trade here. Although
Yeah,
obviously the trade... Okay, well, you didn't make drones to make this many lings, but the fact that you stopped Warp Gate is so big.
Well, you need that momentum from Warp Gate that's allowing you to get out all these units to try to attack. I mean, right now, Stats is in timeout on the map. He has to stay at home. He cannot leave.
Yeah. He's going to get this Warp Prism, but guess what? It's just a shuttle, bro.
That's pretty profound.
Yeah.
That's like some whoa, put the bong down, bro. Like, you just blew my mind. I mean, a Warp Prism without Warp Gates is just a StarCraft 1 shuttle.
Yeah.
Mind exploded.
Yeah. See? My
Yeah,
philosophy tonight is killing it.
There's really not a lot that that Stats can do at this point in time. Now, he's going to send this out anyways, see if he can't get some kills.
Look at that Immortal standing guard against all these things. Sentries are kind of like little tiny shield batteries, aren't they?
Sentries?
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of look like that. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. They got the ball. And
It looks like it's like a baby shield battery.
Yeah. And like they both heal whatever they're attacking.
Hold up. We have a small drop here. Now, this might also be to try to get a read on the tech.
Yeah, it's a nice little poke in. Like, I mean, even if you don't kill too many drones, you don't need these 2 Adepts at home. They've already proven themselves.
Okay, some of these lings doing some damage over here. Immediate pickup. And Warp Gate is just now at 6 minutes and 15 seconds. It's finishing.
Wow. That's like a Roddy Warp Gate right there. Templar Archives just finished up as well, so he can get some Archons out, but Roach Speed is on the way. So definitely can stop some Archon harassment as well.
Now, I think if there's any player that can recuperate from a situation like this, it would be Stats. Stats is just a great all-around player. He's got good instinct. He knows how to navigate a game into late game. He's now taking his 3rd base.
Oh.
Yes, go ahead.
I got really excited because Rogue started Aspire, and then he canceled it.
Yeah, thinking twice about that.
Yeah, like maybe it's because he saw that there's like Archons out or something. I'm not exactly sure why he decided to cancel it because obviously if your opponent has Archons, you can't really attack their army. But anyways,
so there's a push now headed up here. There is no 4th base for Rogue just yet. He's been powering up for the time being. And I don't know if Stats is actually going to commit with this. Looks like he might try to look for some kind of an opening. And I mean, with 2 Archons, 2 Immortals, that can definitely do some damage. Now, this base is completely open.
yeah.
And he just used a Warping round, so there's nothing to actually come back here. Oh, I'm sorry. There was 1 available still.
Okay,
but that's going to buy a little bit of time, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. That might help him to not get a cancel off, especially if another Warpin finishes up.
Now, with the Corrosive Vials firing out like that, it's going to be tough to try to get up here. But Stats is going to try to shove in and move under the Vials this time around.
Nice force fields actually going down, picking off a few of these Ravagers right off the bat.
He needs to get a Warping zone set up here. The Ravagers could end up
The
trying
Warp
to get
Prism!
this-
Oh, the Warp Prism gets taken out by the Queen flank. Really well done there by Rogue. The 2 Immortals can still make this trade reasonable for Stats, but he will lose his whole army.
Yeah, the problem, though, is it's going to be too difficult to get this army to run away. Archon goes down. Certainly the Sentry and the Immortals will be going down as well. Now, the Immortals can still kind of trade as they retreat, but that's pretty big. I mean, Rogue, once again, really seizing control of this game.
Ooh, that was a sick morph, too, yeah.
Now, is there enough to actually defend a counterattack back at home? Immortals come out, oh my god, he's so good.
Yeah.
And that was even to get another Warp Prism. So, he's trying to get an Archon, but it's just Zealots.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough. He's making a couple Archons right now. He wants to get his Prism out as well as an Immortal, but having that goof is going to make it take a lot longer.
Great kiting here as he's waiting for more reinforcements to come in. We're having those Corrosive Vials fired out here.
Ooh, good Bile there, lands on the Zealot.
You know, Rogue has always been good with his Vials.
Yeah.
He knows how to chuck some forward, some a little bit closer to where he's fighting, so that a lot of times one of those will connect.
Dude, this army is not going to be stopped by this. A couple force fields can go down to help him get a couple kills, but instantly chucks down a Bile to kill both those force fields. Gets that Nexus as well. And he's got a Spire on the way now, Tastes. He's decided to go back in that Spire tech. And, I mean, from here on this 3-base economy with a reasonably sized army against no Immortals, hard to imagine how Stats can come back.
Yeah, as Stats is trying to come back and reclaim this area, it looks like Rogue might try to come in here and just roll him. This is just so much damage. Again, if the Warp Prism sets up again, he will try to gun that down. The Zealot count's getting thinned out enough that if the Archons actually have to fight, they can just be targeted down by the Roaches. Look at this. This is going to be taken out.
Ooh! Just barely not killing that Nexus once again here. Stats trying to fight. I don't know if he's going to be able to really do anything here. The Bile's all over the place. He has an Immortal and a Prism left over, but that shouldn't be enough to actually hold this.
This is getting thinned out too quickly, and I think we should be seeing GG here. The supply disparity is way too big. It's one Immortal with no HP, and Rogue takes game number 1. Nicely done. A 10-minute game. From start to the finish, Rogue knew exactly what to do. He took out Warp Gate, as well as 2 gateways. That slowed the overall army production. When Stats came out with an attack that looked like it might be able to do something, he sniped down that Warp Prism, and the counterattack crushed Stats' third base.
If he wasn't able to get that Warp Prism, Stats might have been able to actually end up killing him there, I think. You know,
right.
if you keep warping in your charge slots with that.
Sure.
And it's interesting, too, because remember the initial Adept draw? That's where he got a lot of damage on that Prism, so it was easier to finish off later on. The little things, they add up.
Rogue, with very decisive play, is 1 win away, in this series at least, from moving on to the round of 16. Again, Rogue, in a bit of an upset, was knocked out of Season 1 of the GSL, and we ended up watching him dominate everything else that was going on in StarCraft, but he's back this time to redeem himself. Stats, someone who's definitely had his fair share of success in the GSL Codex, but in other tournaments as well, is here to try to contest that as we now go into game number 2 on the map Acid Plan.
Fight! Splice. Stats.
A really great defense to even stay alive against that Ling Flood, but unable to take down Rogue with a powerful push.
Jin Air Green Wings. Rogue.
Rogue, you know, mixing in that aggression like he did in Game 2 against ByuL, having it not kill his opponent, right? Like, hits part of the wall, gets an upgrade against ByuL, gets an upgrade against Stats, but pulls back into more of a macro game and, you know, hits his defenses and wins.
Love you guys. Hope you're enjoying the show. I'm glad that we have these two players facing off.
Yeah.
This is really cool. It's also very intriguing to see that, you know, Stat's a player who's used to defending. He usually kind of holds off everything, and he has a better unit composition. You know, sometimes it's not as straightforward to someone, you know, who's not watched a lot of StarCraft. Like, what is making Stats so good? Because he just seems to always have the right stuff, and he closes it out. But the fact that Ro can take the initiative like that and totally dictate the game really emphasizes how scary of a player Rogue really is.
Well, the Rogue is the ultimate late game, right? He's the ultimate long game player. In fact, I think if you take... I know that we saw the stats of these two guys' win rates against each other, and Stats actually had a surprisingly good win rate against Rogue. Since Legacy of the Void, I believe it was 9-5 against him. So that's impressive. But to be honest, I feel like based off of their styles and the way that they play, over a longer course of time, I think we're going to see Rogue pull ahead against Stats. You know, because when you get a defensive player playing against an endgame player, the endgame player generally will come out on top, right? Because endgame players normally, if you're going to die to something, it's going to be much earlier. Stats doesn't kill people early very often, right? So just a little thing.
Also, we saw Rogue, I would say over the course of about a year and a half, and this is like 3 years ago, go through this skill growth spurt where he would have some of the best games we've ever seen, and then he would just burn out in some games. It's like he hadn't quite perfected his approach yet. And then over about 6 months, we've just seen him become a force.
Yeah.
An unstoppable force in almost every game he's in. And I'm curious to see how long his hegemony in StarCraft 2 is going to continue.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be for a very long time. You're going to have a hard time upsetting someone like him. By the way, there's a Stalker out, I believe, right? Where is the Stalker? He should have, like I saw him chrono boosting it, so you don't cancel something you're chrono boosting. So he should have a Stalker, which you normally don't get with Stargate. So that could throw off, yeah, see, there it is. That could throw off Rogue a little bit, but he is actually getting some spores. So it doesn't look like the Oracle's going to get a bunch of free kills. I wonder about that Stalker. I guess he just wants to skip getting it. No, he gets the Phoenix anyways. Huh. I feel like it's just a mind game Stalker, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's to try to give kind of like a red herring in the build for Rogue. Rogue maybe doesn't quite take this information the correct way. Now the Oracle's going to come in here. There is a Spore as well as a Queen here hitting that Oracle. It's going to be bruised into the orange, and it goes ahead and retreats now.
Only 1 kill on it as well, so really not very effective for its first swing in. 3 Adepts on the way, so it looks like we could have some Adept pressure coming up.
Looks like he will be spotted by the first Overlord.
Really, though.
Okay, here we go. I was kind of waiting.
Right, 5 Adepts moving out.
Phoenix has tunnel vision or something. So the Oracle's going to try to come around from this corner. And here come the Adepts now. The Queen's going to need to get back here. Couldn't even try to target the Queen. Instead, the drones are pulled. And he's going to start trying to get into a position of superiority here with these Stalkers. Note he pulled back some of those Lings. He doesn't want them to take too much damage.
Yeah.
The shade over was actually a shade out. And so the Roach Warren finishes up. Not bad by Stats, but I guess it would have been ideal if he got a little bit more there.
Yeah, it was just some pressure coming out of him really right there. No real damage because Rogue did pull his drone so quickly. 3rd Nexus on the way. Roach speed, though, coming up here.
I don't believe that there's going to be any opportunity for Rogue to try to pressure that 3rd Nexus.
No,
Nor do I think he even wants to do that. I think he's probably most likely in the business of leaving Protoss alone for now.
Yeah, he's actually taking a 4th base. If you look at what he's played against so far here, we've seen like the early Stalker to try to throw him off. We've seen an Oracle that hasn't gotten many kills. A Phoenix that has killed like 1 Overlord. A 5 Adept pressure into a 3rd base. There's like no way for Stats to attack him anytime soon. So Rogue taking his own 4th base and just kind of working on his drone count, I think is a perfect way for him to play from here.
I agree. I think just trying to, at the bare minimum match, at the maximum stay steadily ahead of Stats is probably going to be the game plan. Now we know that it's going to be an inevitability that Stats is going to try to come out and do some kind of push. He does have some of the best bushes in the GSL as Protoss. You know, when he combos in those Archons and Immortals, he can really start to pressure the Zerg. But Rogue's somebody who's definitely experienced this before. We'll see if he tries to rely on counterattacking or if he just wants to try to brace for impact.
Hey!
And hold off the initial attack.
Hey, you, Tasteless.
What's up?
There's no Hydralisk Den. Instead, Infestation Pit.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that. Is he going to get units with that or just run into the Hive? Like, it's hard to stay on just Roach, but with this type of creep spread and economy, maybe he feels like he can right now?
Oh, he might be able to actually nag these Roaches. Okay, he cannot.
Ooh, that would have been huge.
Yeah, if he could catch those. Now, they're retreating, I think, in a very intelligent fashion, not allowing for any opportunity for a force field to come down. Because this is how Protoss wants to play. They want to shave off a few of your units whenever they can until eventually they just crush you.
Yeah, he's really focusing just heavily on roaches here.
He's
He is
trying to
getting
draw
a Spire. Did he cancel the Infestation Pit? Because he's done 0 with it thus far.
He might have. It's possible. The attack's coming in here now. The War Prism's in a very safe position. These roaches come up here from behind. Now, they did force out some force fields on that side of the fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of roaches from every single angle here. So many ByuLs coming down. You can't even dodge
so
all
many
those.
actually connected. And the Immortals were actually a bit spread out. The Spore pushed forward here, doing some damage to that War Prism.
All right, he pops that Immortal back in. He does hit a ByuL onto the Prism. The Prism's starting to get a little bit low. Oh, the Spore came up for a flank. A Queen trying to get it. He saves the Spore at 1 health.
Okay,
At
but another
1
corrosive
health.
ByuL, and it dodges it. But the army has gotten too small here. This is not enough damage on the ground here for stats.
No.
Rogue now doubling in supply. Nowhere to warp in.
Dude, Rogue is on 70 drones with 4 bases and immaculate creep spread right now. He has a Spire and I think an Infestation Pit. We need to see him go for some mutas, I think.
You know, there's people that are watching this stream right now that haven't seen a StarCraft game. They're going, wow, the bugs are really strong. No! Rogue is actually just amazing.
Yeah.
He made that look like stats was in a different rank on the ladder. So I was like, all right, give me my proper
just
placement.
to appeal to my base, the bugs are really strong.
Okay, again,
Hey,
it
he's
looks
just
like
going
it's,
for a counter,
it's
man.
going to be a seesaw game here. He's going to try to counter. Can he actually close it out like he did in the last game? It's 2 Archons and 2 Immortals.
Yeah.
A wounded War Prism, but a wounded War Prism is still a War Prism that can warp in if you don't deny it.
Well, he's trying to attack up a ramp with roaches against some Immortals and like more warp-ins. There's a couple shield batteries up there. It doesn't feel like he's getting anything done. Okay, he starts flyer attacks. It seems like Rogue thought because he cleared that army and he had good production that he could just counterattack and win. But yeah, okay, here come the mutas. I think that the mutas would have been a better call. Obviously, if he kills stats there, and maybe he kills a lot of players right there in situations like that, then that's amazing. But these mutas, you look at it, right? It's like, it's not as if you can go and attack with Stats' army and kill Rogue right now. Like, his only anti-muta really is his Archons.
Okay, War Prism is getting driven away again. He's going to try to come out for more.
Oh, Phoenix on the way. Did he see the Spire? It must be in the main base, huh?
You would imagine it could be at the natural as well.
All right, Rogue coming out with these Mutalisks. We'll see how many he ends up making. The fact that a Phoenix is on the way is important. We saw it beforehand. He already has a single Phoenix out. So 2 Phoenixes already you can kind of use against
You know,
this
with this number of mutas, you could still do damage before the Phoenixes can actually stop the mutas from coming in.
Absolutely.
It's not like he has a high enough number that the Zerg is going to just naturally turn around. And the fact that there is just this pylon here. Hold on, he's going to try to lay down another one. And actually that pylon's still powered by the pylon to the left of that. Stats decides he's going to try to push in.
This hasn't been a complete switch into mutas, though. That
Hold on.
is still a lot of units.
That
Oh
Immortal
my
taking
God.
so many corrosive ByuLs.
Yeah, a lot of the Ravager eggs are here and getting picked off. I think Rogue has enough to just push this back pretty easily.
Okay, and while that was being controlled over there, Stats unable to micro on 2 fronts. The War Prism moves away.
Ooh, just barely gets out of there in time.
It seems like there's just too much here. You can micro all day and it doesn't matter. The roaches are still down here, just unloading crazy amounts of damage. The mutas retreat, forcing an entire Stalker warp in here.
Oh, ridiculous micro from Stats here as he retreats.
GG, that's it. Rogue does it. Rogue just on another level from possibly anybody in StarCraft 2 right now.
Well, not me.
That's
me
true.
On the true highest level.
That's true.
But Rogue still on fire. I'm going to just say it, Tastes. He's going to win GSL this season. You should bet on Rogue for every tournament.
Look
just
at
like that used to be
Stats.
for Innovation.
Look at Stats right now. It's like, what happened in that game?
Well,
I mean, that was just... I don't even know what to say.
no, I mean, it's not like Stats played poorly, put pressure on and stuff, but
Yeah.
Rogue just got into that later portion of the game. He stopped that first big push. You know, the counter push didn't really do much from Rogue, but switching to those mutas and holding the next push as well. Very well done.
대회의 첫 번째 16강 진출자 진에어 그린윙스 이병렬 선수입니다.
From Group D, we have our first survivor. It's Rogue. Congratulations. Thank
네,
you.
정말 축하드립니다. 자, 승자전에서 김대엽 선수를 2대 0으로
And the winner's match
이기고
against
진출하게
Stats.
됐습니다.
He
요즘
cleaned
기세가
up
제일
2-0.
좋은 김대엽 선수였거든요. 이건 큰 의미가
Even
있을 것 같아요.
stats,
요즘 토스 진출자가
seem to have a
가장
lot of
많은
momentum.
상황에서 오늘 이병규 선수의
It must be really
승리
meaningful to
어떻게
take out a player like
받아들이시나요?
Stats in the round of 32. How do you
근데
feel?
일단 이겼지만 대엽이 형을 실력으로 이겼다고 생각하지
Even though I won
않아서,
against him,
16강에서는
I don't think I won with just my performance. I think on some level I got a little bit lucky today.
김대엽 선수에게
Even the
왜
round of
실력으로
16.
이긴 것 같지가 않으세요?
I just would like to play some more
스타일을 너무
Protosses.
잘 알고 서로
네.
후반을 좋아하기 때문에 그걸 노리고 서로
Since
빌드가
both of us know each other's playstyles pretty well, I think that gave me a bit of an edge. We were both a little bit nervous before this match started.
그것도 실력이죠. 그 1세트 올인도 역시 판짜기였다는 거잖아요.
네.
네, 그렇다면 이 마지막에 보여주신 뮤탈리스크는
So your all-in play was one of those
앞선
strategies in
한지원
game
선수와의
one.
경기에서 영향을 받으셨나요?
yes.
아니면 다른 이유에서나요?
뮤탈리스크를 원래 안 하려고 했는데 그냥 뮤탈인 척
Let's talk about
하려고
that match against
했는데
ByuL.
상황이 뮤탈 하면
Did
좋을
that
것
have any impact on
같아서
your match
쓰게
going up against Stats next?
자, 오늘
Yeah, I think the mutas
승자전
worked pretty
정말
well.
멋진 경기였고 뭐 저저전에 뭐
I saw that it
특징적인
worked
것이
well there
있다기보단
in the game that I had against
역시
ByuL, so I tried
후반
to
운영은
use it there in the game
이변열이다.
against
참 긍정적이다 이런 생각을 하게 됐었던 것
Seems like
같습니다.
you.
자, 이렇게
Your
오늘
late
그
game has
1위
been
진출함으로써
incredibly
지난
stable.
시즌 빠른 예상보다 빠른 그 탈락의 아쉬움을 만회할 수
It was
있게
very
된 것
disappointing to
같아요.
see you eliminated early on in the
네.
last season of the
어떠세요?
GSL.
일단
But
오랜만에
you made it to the round of 16 now.
해볼 수 있고
Are you feeling confident?
일단 제가 마음 편하게 그랜드 파이널을 확정 지어졌기 때문에 조지명식은 정말 일찍 뽑힌다면은 팬들이 재밌어 할 만한 죽음의
Since
조를 만들까
I'm going to be able.
네.
I've already made my
오늘
spot to
이
BlizzCon early,
팬들의
so I'm feeling pretty
특별한 응원이
comfortable. I
있어서일까요?
think group
더
domination is.
이렇게
I'm going to
경기력이
try to
좋아
make a group of
보였는데
death and
팬들이
entertain
또
my fans.
선물을 준비하셨더라고요.
네. 너무 감사드리고
I saw your fans prepared
오랜만에
special
이렇게
gifts for you
이기니까
in
팬분들도
the
너무
studio. It's true, a lot of stuff they brought down.
네, 그 음료수랑
Yeah, I'm very grateful for the people who support me.
예쁘게 포장해 주셨던데
네.
그럼 마지막으로 팬들에게 한마디 들어보겠습니다.
일단은
Anything to say to your fans?
오랜만에 16강을 가게 됐으니까 확실히 잘하는 선수들이랑 해야지 저도 뭔가
It's been a while to make it to
재밌고,
the round of 16 for
연습을
me.
더 열심히 하게 되더라고요. 그래서 16강도 잘하는
Since all their
선수랑
opponents are very strong in the GSL
기대
now,
많이 되는
I
매치로
think
만들 수
we could
있게
show some great
노력하겠습니다.
games.
네, 알겠습니다.
So
다시
hopefully I
한번
can do well this
이기신
season.
축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
All right, congratulations, thank you, and that does it for our interview.
네, 이렇게 2조의
We've got one
이변열 선수를
who has
만나봤습니다.
survived.
계속해서 GSL
Rogue,
이벤트 안내.
not surprising.
No, of course it's not surprising. He's favored to win every tournament he's in.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought the games were going to be a little bit closer against Stats, but Rogue on a completely different level.
Well,
ByuL, by the way, is still looking good. He's going to be in our losers match. I imagine he should win against Emotion.
think so.
We're going to go to a short break. We come back, our fourth best of three. Stay tuned.